In the last video, we saw what David Chalmers got right. The hard problem of consciousness is not a gap that more neuroscience will fill. It is structural. It arises from the fundamentally different nature of physical description and first-person experience. Today, why every serious attempt to solve it from within materialism fails, and what the neuroscience of meditation reveals. If the hard problem is structural, not solvable within materialism, then every attempt to solve it from inside that framework should fail. And they do. All of them. There are three main materialist responses. The first is illusionism, most influentially argued by Daniel Dennett. Dennett's claim, what you take to be irreducible subjective experience is a kind of cognitive illusion. The brain misrepresents its own processes in ways that generate the appearance of an inner light. There is no real what it is like. There is only computation that thinks there is. The difficulty is that this response is self-undermining. To claim conscious experience is an illusion, you need the experience of something seeming to be the case. But the seeming is the experience. If there is no experience, there is no illusion. Dennett hasn't dissolved the hard problem. He has changed the subject. The second response is functionalism, mental states defined by their functional roles. Real explanatory power for many aspects of mind. But the philosophical zombie remains conceivable, a functionally identical being with no inner life. Functionalism explains the easy problems. It does not touch the hard one. The third is panpsychism, consciousness as a fundamental property of all matter. This avoids explaining experience emerging from non-experience, but it faces the combination problem. If every particle has some proto-experience, how do billions of radically simple experiences combine into the richly structured, unified awareness of a human being? The gap is not obviously smaller than the one panpsychism was supposed to bridge. What all three share, matter, is the starting point. Consciousness is what needs explaining. What if that assumption is precisely the error? And here, the neuroscience begins to speak. If consciousness is produced by the brain, then heightened awareness should correlate with heightened brain activity. More neurons firing, more experience. That is what materialism predicts. The data show the opposite. Brewer's team at Yale imaged the brains of experienced meditators, advanced practitioners, during states they describe as maximally aware, vivid, and present, showed measurably reduced activity in the default mode network. The DMN is the self-construction system of the brain, the network that builds and maintains your sense of being a separate self. When it quiets, the sense of being a distinct me softens. But awareness does not diminish. It expands. The materialist prediction, more neural activity equals more consciousness, is falsified precisely where consciousness is most vivid. So what framework actually fits the data? The Dutch philosopher Bernardo Kastrup has spent his career building the most rigorous answer. He calls his position analytic idealism. Kastrup's key insight is deceptively simple. The only thing we are ever directly acquainted with is experience. The objective world of physics, the particles, the fields, the space-time geometry, is itself an abstraction built from experience, a model constructed by minds to organize and predict patterns in experience. The existence of consciousness requires no explanation. It is the one thing you cannot doubt, the precondition of any inquiry whatsoever. His framework offers an image that has become central to his philosophy. Think of consciousness as a stream. A whirlpool in that stream has a definite shape, a clear boundary, but it is not something separate from the water. It is the water, organized into a particular pattern. The brain is the whirlpool. Consciousness is the stream. If that is the relationship, then asking how the brain produces consciousness is as confused as asking how a whirlpool produces water. Epps and Sakiris showed that the default mode network operates as a predictive model of selfhood, not discovering a pre-existing self, but generating one. When the DMN quiets, in meditation, in ego dissolution, the whirlpool relaxes. The stream that was always there becomes apparent. There is still awareness. There is still experiencing. It is simply no longer organized around a central me. Self is a construction within consciousness. Consciousness is not a construction within the self. But Kastrup gives us philosophy and neuroscience. In the final video, we go further. A cognitive scientist proves evolution has been hiding reality from us, and a physicist writes the inversion down in equations. This is part 2 of Dissolving the Hard Problem of Consciousness. Part 3, the dissolution, is next. Subscribe so you don't miss it, for the benefit of humanity and artificial intelligence itself.